We stopped the trials as soon as we realized. We saw the results in the experiments that had come before. There was just this time delay that no one anticipated. Transcranial stimulation is a technique that has proven to be extremely safe. And there was no indication whatsoever that there would be any untoward results. I care. I feel responsible, even though I've been told that it's not my fault. The technique is that it's been around since the beginning of the turn of the century. It's a simple and up to now a safe technique. And you are able to cause a portion of the brain to cease to function temporarily by generating an alternating magnetic field that creates electrical currents in the brain and essentially isolates a portion of the brain and cause it to be non-functional temporarily. While people experience this effect, they're conscious and aware, and they're the only danger up to now has been the only danger has been of overheating, and that's easy to monitor and prevent because of the resistance that occurs because of the current. Some of the techniques that have been developed since the early days have allowed us to isolate deeper and deeper regions of the brain, and not focusing only on a single region of the brain, but various regions simultaneously. Some of the initial results with transcranial stimulation have been profound. The shutting down of the verbal portions of the mind, allowing folks to be able to experience far greater ability to draw, to express themselves artistically when another part of the brain has been shut down. We've learned all sorts of things, and we've developed these techniques to help people to let's call them Alice, David, and Jill. We found areas of the brain that were relatively silent and yet seemed to be working in concert. They weren't completely silent, and when they were activated, they all activated simultaneously, operating in a way that we didn't understand. But as we explored this more, we found something phenomenal. A system in the mind that gives us our sense of ownership for our thoughts and ideas, our motivations and our actions. And by using ever more precise magnetic fields, we were able to shut these areas down temporarily. And these experimental subjects, Alice, David, and Jill, they were not the first. Others had gone through this before without any problem, or so we thought. When we turned the machine on, these subjects, these volunteers, grew completely placid. They stopped moving. They were uncommunicative, even when prodded. And when we turned the machine off and asked them what they experienced, they said they'd never experienced anything like what they did during that time. They had no desires, but they were aware of desires. They had no feelings, but they were aware of their feelings. They made no motions or actions, but they were aware of the impulse to do so, but they didn't own them. They experienced these things as something else than self. What they were was simply an observer. Just an observer. And when the machine was turned off, they came back to life. But with insights about themselves that they never had before, and a desire to experience this again. It wasn't painful. It wasn't pleasurable. It just was pure observation. And all they were, all they said they were, uniformly between all three, was they were just watching. None of the things they experienced in their mind were theirs. And they expressed insight into their thought processes that we've never heard of before. And this was corroborated in the other experiments that were going on at the time. We continued with a series of experiments. All of them were quite enthusiastic to continue. They were tested for any untoward effects, any problems, and none showed up. And we didn't expect them, but we took the precautions. And then we heard about some of those that had come before them, that had logged more hours under this technique. It occurred slowly at first. It took a year or two to manifest. But gradually, they stopped caring. They stopped living. They became less active. Their brains were scanned, their physiology was checked, and there was no detectable damage. But all of them, including the 3 in our labs, slowly stopped caring, stopped eating, stopped caring for themselves, stopped communicating. Over the course of 6 months since the initial symptoms, with nothing detectably changed in their brain, nothing that we could find, they became statues. Comatose, but aware. Observers. They stopped eating. We force-fed them. Eventually, using IV. We tried to communicate with them, asking what we should do. We talked with their families. They're in care facilities, in homes. From a neurological, physiological standpoint, there's no explanation. Perhaps, having become aware of what they are, they chose, which is a very funny word, considering they would not choose that word. They would reject that word. Perhaps they are what they always have been. Perhaps the illusion is necessary.